It's better. Yeah, maybe.
Okay, and we're going to share to Facebook.
I love the little Christmas tree behind you.
Oh, thank you. And post to Facebook. And we should be good.
Okay.
All right. Well, welcome to this segment of A Day of Light and Love 2022. And I'm Jeannie Fritsch, and I'm the host of the event. And I'm super excited to have a conversation with Kayla Conley. I'm in Chicago. Kayla's in the UK, I think just outside of London.
Yes.
And but the event was created specifically to feed the hearts and the souls of those who might be going through a season of loss, a season of change, a season of loneliness. I was saying previously, you know, sometimes like I've had both kinds. I've had like the loneliness where you are alone, and then honestly, even worse than that, the loneliness when you're with others and yet you feel alone. That's even more potent. And but I think this time of year is when we notice it, because we notice people getting together. We know what past traditions were. You know, sometimes it's just you're serving from a different city, you're at a distance, or a different country, and the traditions are not being observed, and you notice them, and there's those pangs of I don't know. I don't even think they're discontent. I think they're a little more painful than discontent. And so what we're here today to do is to offer wisdom from those who have walked that path previously and moved through to a greater way of living that they created sometimes out of the ashes of an experience. So, and Kayla is a very, she's a very grounded, spiritually advanced being, person, woman, mother, right? Friend. She has a lot of gifts, and I think you'll get to see some of them revealed today. We met a while back, quite a few years now, and have worked in various business groups together, different educational programs that we've done together, and kind of developed a sisterhood even through our what was an acquaintanceship that turned into a friendship. So Kayla, thank you for being here. You are in the UK, but you grew up in Jamaica.
Yes, that's home.
So Jamaican by birth.
By birth, yes.
And by tradition, I guess. But your traditions have morphed, haven't they? I mean,
yes,
over the years.
I was born in Jamaica, but I do believe a lot of my spiritual advancement that you mentioned that really took place in the UK. That's the gift that I got from the UK. Because living in my country, it was very comfortable. If I had no food, I would know exactly where to go. If I'm not working, maybe I wouldn't worry so much. There would still be a roof over my head. But my spiritual advancement came when I moved to the UK. I had far less, and there was more to do. It felt like a bigger shoe to step into. And how do you do that when you don't feel like you have the resources? What's your next move? Yes. Yes.
Well, what is your next move?
I guess that's when I started to understand that dreams were coming to me. And I made a point to write my dreams down. That's that's when it really started. I wasn't, I didn't have the wisdom that I have now to understand the surrender process and wait. I would still
Mm.
write the dreams down, charge ahead and worry. And
Mm.
in the end, it created illnesses in me. I had a food intolerance for 7 years,
Wow.
where my body just couldn't take sugar or cheese, no forms of bread, because the level of stress that I was operating on, it wasn't in alignment with who I am and knowing what to do. I think it's very confusing when you're young and you see the vision and you see things when you go to sleep, but how do I apply it to my daily life? It's like it doesn't make sense. Yes.
And so, how did you get to where you are today then?
I got there by stepping back. I had to step back. Everything got too far. So I had to seek alternative help. I got a homeopath to help me to heal from the sugar intolerance that I had. And I understood later on the gift of praying, the gift of praying and not focusing on this problem, this mountain that's in front of me. I understand. Yes, it took a long time. It's not something that you just get like that. It's that muscle that you work all the time. When you say, teach me to pray, Lord, it's so powerful, because we do ask, did you hear my prayers, Lord? Will you answer them? What will be the outcome that I will have to accept? What's your will that I will have to accept?
That's the surrender that you were talking
Yes.
about.
Yeah. And we want to go left, but God's will is saying going right. And you can't see the benefit in going right.
Not in that moment.
Not in that moment.
Not in that
Not in that
moment.
moment.
It does reveal itself later, though.
It does. It really does. And it has taught me not to stay present and not sit and think, oh, this didn't happen because she didn't like me. It was a bad day. It rained. Oh, the traffic was terrible. The human mind can come up with so many excuses, but there's one God with one promise. One God with one promise. So when we go down to pray and you say, teach me to pray, Lord, that's what we need. Teach me to pray. Help me to say what's really on my mind. Help me to say what's really in my heart. And help me to heal from this, because I'm not in control. But when I get up, I'm looking for something. I'm looking for a direction. I'm looking for an answer. I'm looking for something. And through stillness and observation, we see more of it. We do see more in even tiny ways. We see them in big ways, but we see it in tiny ways. Like yesterday, I went to get food and I didn't have a pound to put in my trolley. There was a trolley there with no money was needed to go in there. I stood and I laughed. Yeah. So we do see these little miracles every day, but we have to work and stay in the light, stay in the light. Yeah.
So, your topic that you chose was trusting God in times of adversity.
Yes.
So, times of adversity do show up.
Yes.
And trust has come up quite a few times in the conversations previous to yours. It's very interesting. Surrender and trust has really
Yes.
been showing up a lot tonight.
Yes.
Are there any, you said it doesn't come overnight.
Yes.
I'm someone who I've always, I think for most of my young life, I was always looking for that macro, that magic macro, that magic macro moment that just, like, like adjusted everything. And I thought that's how it would come.
Yes.
And I didn't really understand the value of the micro, of the micro actions that
Yes.
compound over time and create that momentum that causes the macro to accelerate and activate.
Yes.
Has that been true for you as well?
Yes, it is true, because I do think sometimes we see too much in the movies. The macro happens in the movies when the clouds part and the prince appears and this person is no longer poor. And we see that in the movies. But I'm pretty sure the screenwriter, the director, and all the participants, they were on the ground long before we saw that film.
Yeah.
And this is what we don't, you're not taught, or it takes a while to understand that faith is a daily practice. Prayer is a daily practice. Everything you do is incremental, but it's a daily practice. And we have to understand that. I do think all the great prophets and prophetesses that we see in the Bible, they didn't just get up today and go, you know what, Lord, I want to be amazing. I want to be this prophet. They were taken down and they had to come up and rise up from the ashes too. So in one sense, why should we be different?
Yeah, and there was another theme of this day has been consistency.
Yes.
There's consistency is one of the secrets of actualizing that macro.
Yes.
Small consistent actions over time do compound. I think that I underestimated the power of that compounding when it kicked in.
Yes. I think it's knowing what to do when when you need a change or a shift. It's understanding how to access the higher power. Then that's it. What do I do? Today isn't right. This person is ill. My world feels like it's falling. That's the time you feel like you shouldn't pray, because mentally you're so confused. But that's the time to sit and pray, because it will just give you that grounding that you need to say, you know what, I've prayed about it and let's see the outcome. Yeah.
I think, yeah, in the prayer, there is a letting go. There is a surrender. There is a, if you're asking something, then you're expecting to receive, or you're at least open to receive it. And I think that the way to be a clearer reception point is the regular practice of presence and prayer and slowing down.
Slowing down. You do
Slowing
need to
down.
slow down.
Yeah, slowing down and simplifying the moment.
Yes.
I have this term, the zoom out. You've heard me say it before.
I've already.
Yeah, it's so interesting, because when I sense that I'm sensing something is harder, like, well, like what is, why, why isn't this just being smooth? Then
Yeah.
I in the old teeny would get in there and wrestle with it.
Yeah, that's it. That's
you
it.
know but no, I mean, the genie of today, I zoom, I go, oh wait, zoom out. So for me, there's a surrender and zooming out, and I zoom out so I can turn it over. I have to
Yes.
say, oh, this is just a part of something bigger that's
Yes.
occurring in my life, and I can't see it for what it is because I'm in it right now. that if
Yes.
I zoom out and allow, and zooming out doesn't mean zoom out so that you can like look at the whole, but zoom out isn't putting my legs up and kicking back and waiting for the
In a
next
hammock.
sequence of the next sequence of things. No, there's a certain, I mean, I remember hearing faith has feet, like feet, like
Yes.
real faith has an
Yeah,
action component to it.
that's true.
But in the past, my action would be pushing against, wrestling. And now my action is zoom out and listen. What do you want me to do next? What am I to do next? How do I proceed? And watching for the answer,
Yes,
listening for the answer.
that's wisdom. It's only given to you after a certain age and
Yeah,
some
I don't know if
experiences.
I don't know if it's age or if it's intensity of experiences
Mm, it must, maybe it's
or
both,
some
isn't it?
combination. Yeah.
Maybe it's a combination, but you do understand after a while how much control you have over certain things,
Yes.
and do I really want it as bad as I think, or is it really for me?
Yeah, is it really for me? That's that whole Denny statement, get out of God's chair. My
That's
husband
so
Denny would
good.
frequently say that to me. He
It's
would
so
remind
good.
me, but he would do it in such a gentle way. It was such a great way to say, Jeannie, get your will, get your ego out of the way and
Yeah.
just let God do his job.
It's true. And we all get to that point. If he could just do this, if she could just go do that, if there were only two cars ahead of me, I would have gotten there. I
Yeah.
would have. And you realize, no, there was a bigger plan than that. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
comes, it comes with time, but having a prayer life is a good practice. It's a
So
good.
for someone who doesn't have that as a practice, what would you offer, to that person as some steps that they could take to grow their trust in God?
The easiest thing to do is start small. Start small and find that time. It's easy when we're rushing out to work and you set the alarm in the morning, you think, I don't have time to pray, but you can find 5 minutes to pray in the morning, and you work on that every morning. For 5 minutes you pray. You can pray, you can read the Bible, you can read other prayers if you want. Just a little thank you. Bless my day, cover me as I go about, or bless the people I work with. And you activate that day by day. If you only do it on a Monday and Friday you return to it, or Sunday, then you might not see the effects of it. And you might have big things that will throw you about and you just think, what's the point in praying? And you give up. It's just like following that diet or exercise that you just think, there's no point in doing it. So it does come with consistency.
Yeah.
And once you do that daily, if you choose the morning or the evening, you choose that time daily, and then you expand on.
I think she's frozen. Let's see if she comes back. We'll wait a minute or two. Well, I think she was saying if you take that and just expand on it. So small bits consistently over time create a momentum that brings enough. You start to have enough evidence, let's say, evidence of an increased awareness of the connection to God, because the connection is always there. doesn't come and it doesn't waver. It's not there and then not there. The connection is always there. It's us accessing the connection that needs to be strengthened. So Kayla's gone. She lost her connection and now she's back. Okay, there you are. Beautiful. I was kind of filling in, so you can go back and listen to this because really we're almost done. We were almost completed. Now, do you have sound? Because I don't hear you. Yes. No. And she's frozen again. It's probably a connectivity issue. Well, thank you all for tuning in and listening. And I think we've lost Kayla for now. But I believe that the message that she provided was there's just some beautiful nuggets inside of this conversation. So thank you, Kayla, when you come back and revisit this. Thank you. Thank you for your contribution. I think your message was consistent bits over time, strength and an awareness of connection that provides the path that gets you to the big picture in the most effortless way. Let's see if you're here.
Oh, that's better.
There you are. Okay. I was wrapping up. I was
laptop.
wrapping up for you because I didn't think that you would be able to make it back, but
That's okay. We can wrap up.
You were
if
talking
that's-
about, just a small, just being intentional and being consistent and
Yes,
the small 5 minutes amounts.
yes,
You start to
be
notice
routine.
and you start to see the evidence
Yes,
of that investment, because all it's doing is the investment is in the expansion of the connection, because the connection is never not there. It's our
that is
awareness of
true.
it.
But when you're tested, you feel disconnected.
Yes.
When you face real mountains, you can say, Father, are you there? I am your child. I remember being really tested, and I said, though have searched me and known me, you knew me before I was in my mother's womb. This is too big for me. Because sometimes we have to lay it down because it's such a big can to carry. That's how it feels.
Yes.
But by expressing that by saying, this is how raw it feels, this is how hurt I'm feeling right now, it's a part of the development. It's a part of handing over that pain. It's a part of moving through it. Yeah.
Surrendering the control.
Surrendering. But this is a big lesson. It's a big lesson because we were brought up. If you say to your mom years ago, Mom, I don't want to go to school today. She's like, you have the school, you need to go. So we were brought up to always go find this, go do this, go do that.
Yeah.
And then there's the other thing. How can you just, as they would say in the Caribbean, you can't just throw up your hands and do nothing. You can't just give up on yourself. So moving through adversity, that's the thing. Staying calm and knowing where to hand that dilemma, isn't it? It's where to hand that.
Where to go for assistance.
Yes. It's where to go, and find your calm place. Find your calm place where when you're there, it's just you. It's just you. Even if the postman knocks, you won't hear. It's just you, your calm place.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you, Kayla.
Thank you.
And thanks being so persistent coming back on so you could complete that thought. As yours was way better than my interpretation of it. So So yeah, really,
Thank
thank
you for
you
that, Jeannie.
very
Thank you.
much. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
It's
And
always
do
a,
I,
it's just always a pleasure. It's always an expansive conversation with you.
well, you are a part of that expansion, I must say. And that's the thing. Having faith, it's also having the right helpers. We all
Mm.
need the right helpers to lead us because
Or
we can't,
remind us, or maybe just
yes,
remind us, you
I've
know?
never used the term spiritual advancement with myself. I've never coined it in two words, but I listen to you and it does make sense.
Oh,
Yeah, it does make sense. If I look
yes.
at the books I have here with the dreams in it and my daily life, but so sometimes we need people to say, hey, you're really doing okay.
Yeah.
This,
Yeah.
yeah, you're really doing okay. Just
Yeah.
those little words.
It's someone to remind us. It's that
Yes,
remind. Yeah. It's
yes.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. And
You'll have to
Merry
tell me.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, Jeannie. And
So it's like 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning, 8:30,
9:39.
9 o'clock in the morning, your
Yes,
time. So
yes.
your Christmas is just getting started. I mean, mine's just getting started, but most people are sleeping right now. Yours is just getting started because it's the morning
Yes.
and the
I
magic.
kept looking on the time for Chicago. It's 3:39.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah. We went live
You're
11 o'clock my time this morning, or yeah, late last night.
you're
So,
so good.
oh,
You
it's
look like
so
you just
wonderful.
came out of the shower and
Oh, really? Yeah.
amazing. Not tired.
I have a little 2 hour break. I have a little 2 hour break between the early morning session. And then once I come back, then it's like 10 hours straight. So, you
Yeah.
know, I I might adjust a few things, but
You're really made for this.
oh, you know what? It's just it's compelling. Like it's just there's some
Yeah,
it's like when brilliance magnetizes you, it's not about you.
that's
It's
true.
about the brilliance that's seeking to be represented. So this is truly not about me. I just get to tap into the brilliance of those that I'm connected to that can then serve whoever it is that hears them and it is that benefits and moves forward. Hopefully that will occur for
Fantastic.
many people. So
Yes.
Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you, Jeannie. Have a wonderful day and thank you for being a beacon of light
Uh,
to us all.
well,
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you so much for being the bulb.
You'll have to,
There's no beacon without the bulb, right? So,
well, that is
yeah,
true. I didn't
that
look at it
is.
that way,
I
but
know.
yeah,
Yeah.
you do have
So
a
it
point
it
there.
it it takes a team. So thank
It
you.
does. It
Thank
does.
you for your wisdom and just
Yes.
your luminous essence. That's
Thank you so much.